Hello, everybody. Welcome to this interview by Core Recruitment. Thank you very much for joining us today. If you're not aware, Core Recruitment is a specialist recruitment company, and we look after mid to senior level appointments for exec and non-exec roles across all of the major areas that we cover. Now, as part of that, we have been speaking to some of the business leaders from the sectors that we operate within, and we've been recording these conversations to get a little bit of positivity, innovation, insight about the current market and how things are going for them at the moment. Now, we've got lots of these on our website, which is www.corerecruitment.com. So if you want to download any or have a look at some videos or some articles, then please enjoy them and please feel free to share with others. Or if you've got anybody that you think might be interesting for us to speak to, then please do get in contact with us and feel free to recommend as well. Now, we're very, very lucky today to be joined by Cleanology's Dominic. How are you, Dominic?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, very good. You're fresh off the plane from New York, aren't you?
Las Vegas actually.
Ah,
But yeah, just come back from the CES tech show in Vegas. So yeah, it's good. Very big event, huge event.
huge, right? And what kind of things were you seeing there?
Lots of robots, lots of AI, and yeah, just every gaming gadget, tech gadget you can imagine.
Is there anything that you're going to bring back into Cleanology that you thought was pretty cool?
Yeah, it's a few things that we're looking at. So it's just about kind of taking something maybe a bit more quirky and trying to introduce it into the market. So we're always looking for new and exciting innovations that we can bring.
Excellent. Now, Dominic, we've been connected for a little while, and one thing that kind of you notice kind of like is that you guys in Cleanology, you do a lot of charity work. You do a lot of stuff kind of outside of just the traditional kind of like, FM business if it comes to, dare I say, the word politics and all of that side of things as well. And you're definitely not backwards about coming forwards about the causes that you really believe in. Where does this kind of come from? Is it kind of a personal trait or where did it come from?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely, or I personally, I suppose, definitely have done quite a lot outside the kind of main business. I suppose it's a passion of mine. I mean, I think where does it come from? I suppose it's somewhere in the genes. I think that as a business, I feel quite strongly that, we're not just about providing a service to our customers, but we have a whole community that we engage with. So that's, both obviously customer staff, but also outside that, a wider community and industry. So we're always looking to kind of, do things outside the sort of core business. I think personally as well, my family came to the UK from overseas from Sri Lanka and didn't have very much I suppose when they came here, and I suppose there's an element of me wanting to also give back a bit and feel very grateful for what I've had and the success I've had and the opportunities I've had. So if we can do a bit to help others along the way, then that's good. Business should be a force for good, and that's it's profit, but also people and planet as well.
Love that. Have you ever considered a career in politics, Dominic? Is that on the cards at some point in the future?
I have. I actually stood for Parliament in 2005. So a
Really?
long time ago, in Leeds East. And obviously I didn't win. And I kind of had to decide at that point really if I was going to go into politics or business, and that was kind of like my fork in the road. And I ended up doing the business and scrapping the politics. I decided at the time I needed to make some money. I'd incurred quite a lot of debt in a business that failed, and decided I needed to try and build a successful business, and repay those debts and that loan, which thankfully I've now done. But yeah, I think politics is definitely something I am looking at. So I've just recently stepped down as CEO of the business, moving into a chairman role, and politics is something that I'm looking at, kind of going back to now. In what shape or form, I'm not sure yet, but we'll see.
Well, it's sorely needed. I'm not going to make this political broadcast, but I think it's sorely needed. So yeah, any business input would be fantastic. Now, the FM sector generally is massively changeable, dynamic, kind of like sector, and there's always multiple kind of like moving parts. What trends are you kind of seeing, kind of like in your customer base at the moment?
I think. customers, or sort of the industry generally, is going through quite a bit of change. I think it's always been quite an acquisitive market. I think there's always been a lot of companies merging and being taken over, and I don't think that's going to stop. I think it's a good sector for consolidation, and it's a great sector to kind of build a business in as well. Um, I think customers are definitely looking for value for money. I think as we came out of COVID, it was very much about well-being and people and providing an amazing, service, but also just doing more than that. It was kind of the ESG piece was really strong, and I think in the last couple of years, that's probably shifted a bit more towards cost and price. Obviously, the economic environments are very challenging, and I don't see that changing really for the next couple of years. So I think those kind of companies that are offering potentially TFM are going to be in quite a strong place because I think there's quite a lot of demand for consolidating services into one. I think people see there's a cost benefit of doing that, obviously making their life easier as well. And so I think that will continue very much over the next few years. But I do think that ESG also will remain a key thing for people. I think that's an area that's really massively grown in the last kind of 5 years, and really sees no sign of kind of tailing off. Everyone's got targets to meet. Everyone's trying to be more competitive and better than their competitors. So. Yeah, I think ESG for us is also going to remain a big feature.
Absolutely. Now, you mentioned there the economic challenges which kind of like lots of organizations are facing at the moment. Like within Cleanology itself, what levers have you been pushing? What steps have you been taking to keep yourselves lean and mean?
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely tricky. I think technology and I include kind of AI in that, but also operational efficiency, machinery, and so on is really key for us and for us as a sector. I think you've got to be. It's such fine margins between winning and not winning. You've got to be at the top of your game all the time. So if you think, you can kind of just sit back and go, well, great, we've got the best, uh, you know, tech system or data or machinery in place, and then relax, it's just not going to happen. You've got to keep evolving and adapting all the time. So I think for us, data is absolutely key, and a lot of companies are moving towards really data-driven decisions. So whether it's determining what areas we clean each day or performance, they say data is the new gold, and really data is key in terms of driving decision making going forward. So you know are we doing this in the most efficient way? If not, we need to change it. Where is operational performance really strong? Just having that information is critical. And I think AI will play a part. I think the whole AI thing is talked about a lot, but I think it's all about making yourself, reducing the manual pointless kind of works that you have to do, and just kind of trying to be more smart and more efficient. And we've seen that. I mean, we're introducing AI across the business, so we've introduced it in our finance team, just like even inputting invoices and just really simple stuff that takes the team so long to do. Suddenly we've been able to actually double the size of the business with the same size team. And had we not done that, we wouldn't have been able to we wouldn't have been able to do it. We would have probably had to increase the headcount by quite a lot. And also, it's just not some of these manual tasks are not fun for the team to do. So if you can empower people with really cool tools that are out there now, also gives them just a lot more job satisfaction, helps with retention, and just it's just a self-fulfilling prophecy, really.
And following on from that, I guess in terms of like, what you're seeing from an employment trend perspective for the next 5 years, tech savvy is obviously kind of up there, kind of like, on the list. But what else do you think people need to be for, in the current FM market?
I think tech savviness is definitely up there. I think one of the things that we really struggle with as an industry is trying to get good people into the industry and then trying to retain them. I think for us, we obviously recruit within the industry, but we also recruit a lot outside and try and train people up and give them the necessary skills. So long as they have the right attitude and want to learn, then that's possible. But trying to keep good people in the industry is going to be really, really important, and is definitely a big challenge. There's so many new industries out there. Everyone wants to leave school and go into tech and all these exciting, new things. How do we attract people to FM and how do we get them to stay in FM? And we've had one or two people who've been really good and who've left and gone to join the tech world, in one way or another, which is a shame because you want to keep good people not just within our business but within the industry. So I think for FM, it's going to be really important to adopt all of the new technology and stuff that's out there to try and make it as exciting as possible, and to keep good people within the industry.
Excellent. Now, your background and experience, because you were kind of like originally working in media and had founded a business in that side of things as well. You were at the London School of Economics and you did economics and political science. I mean, like, I'm not saying that it's not a natural career progression into FM, but it certainly isn't the most kind of like, linear one to get into that. Can you tell us a little bit about what attracted you into the sector and what keeps you interested in it?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose like a lot of people, you fall into these things by accident. So my mother had an opportunity, going back more than 20 years, that she kind of went for and pitched for this cleaning contract, not expecting to win it, and she won it. And there's a saying, certainly in cleaning and probably in FM as well, overall, you either get in and stay in, or you get in and get the hell out. And she got in and got out, and I got in and stayed in. And 20 years later, obviously still here. But yeah, I kind of fell into it really by accident. And it's been very, very good to me. I think it's a great industry to build a business and a career in. It's very recession proof, very stable.
Mm.
There's always demand for it. So yeah, I think it's a great sector to be in. But yeah, I suppose I didn't really kind of plan to be in it, and it was really more by accident than design.
Understood. That makes that makes a lot of sense. What did your mum end up doing in FM, by the way, just out of interest?
Well, she kind of started the business originally and then asked me to help her for 3 months to do the marketing. And then I did that. And then 3 months became 10 years and 10 years became 20 years. And then I think we got to about 5 employees and she said, right, I've had enough. And then called it a day. And then obviously I kind of took over at that point and grew it. But yeah. I think she did enjoy it. Those early days working with her were good fun, but it is tough. It is there's no question it's a tough industry, especially on the cleaning side. Lots of early mornings, late nights, weekends, 24/7 on call. So it's not easy.
No, well. So in terms of kind of like, who's inspired you or which leaders kind of like, that you think have kind of like really spurred you on, either that you've worked with or kind of like, just from the sector generally, who would you say inspires you?
I think there's actually quite a few different people who have inspired me over the years. I quite often meet with a lot of our competitors and owners of other businesses, and it's really interesting to hear what other people are doing, and in their own kind of different ways have inspired me. Either they've been really purpose-driven businesses, and for me that's a big thing. Or they've introduced some really brilliant ideas or initiatives to their business, or they've done some amazing stuff for their people. So I'm always kind of being inspired by different people. I wouldn't say there's any one personal business that has particularly inspired me, but a number of different journeys. And also people outside the sector. So there are companies like great British businesses like Gymshark and others like have just kind of grown into these massive businesses, and again probably more by chance and by recipe of success. And you try and look at other businesses and other sectors and think, what can I learn from there? What can I bring to this sector and this business that's completely different? So yeah, a number of really business leaders that have inspired me over the years.
Excellent. Now, outside of kind of the day job, I mean, you're part of lots of different organizations, like you're an alumni member at the British Entrepreneurs and Awards community. Living Wage Foundation, kind of like, co-chair, that kind of like, side of things, like being part of kind of like a lot of these kind of like, different associations and businesses. Can you tell us a bit about the network that you've developed and what that kind of like adds to you as a leader?
Yeah, I've kind of as I said at the outset, really been involved in a number of areas outside the business. So the Great British Entrepreneur Network, as you referenced, is a great source of inspiration. You've got lots of, incredible businesses across all sectors, doing amazing things and growing at an incredible rate, some of them. And to listen to some of those stories, and you go to the awards dinners and events in between the awards, and it's fascinating to meet people who are doing really well. And the Yeah, I'm a member of the co-chair of the leadership group at the Living Wage Foundation for the recognized service providers, and that's a real chance to kind of make a difference and try and use that opportunity and that platform to be able to push the real living wage and the benefits of that. Obviously some people see it as a cost. I see it as an investment. The fact we've been able to increase our staff who get the paid the real living wage from 17% in 2017 to 99% now is fantastic. Many companies approach me and ask me, how are you able to implement that across the business and across, your clients, because obviously there's can be some pushback from clients. To be able to just kind of like, do some good stuff outside the business is really important and means a lot.
Nice. Now, in terms of challenges that are facing the kind of sector at the moment, whether these be brought around by kind of like experience or technology, as you mentioned, or well-being, etc., as well, what do you think the biggest challenges are, kind of like, and how are you responding at the moment?
Um, there are lots of challenges. I suppose there always are. They're just different challenges, different times of the cycle. But at the moment, cost is definitely a big challenge. And as I said a few minutes ago, you really need to be operating, as efficiently as you can. There's no question that that's important. Embracing all the new innovations, technology, AI, etc., is another big thing, and trying to get your teams behind it and trying to sell them the benefits of it is really important. I think, people generally don't like change, and you've got to be able to sell them the fact that this change is going to make their job and their life easier, and give them time back, so you can work a bit less hard and a bit more smart, and you get some time with your family or doing sport or whatever you enjoy doing. So that's a big one. And then without getting wanting to get too political, the employment rights bill is going to cause complete mayhem across the sector, in my opinion. And when this first was announced, what, more than a year ago, at the time I said that, people are going to be less willing to take a job, to take a punt on people giving people a job, and employment obviously is going up, which is really sad to see. But I think it's going to really impact us, even with the watering down, in terms of being able to give people an opportunity who maybe wouldn't have taken a chance on, because the cost and the risk is going to be so much higher. And also, clients really want a lot of flexibility. And the whole point of this bill, one of the big points of this bill, is to reduce flexibility. So you can't take people on, then you decide you don't need them, and let them go. And it's just not conducive to business growth. So I think it's going to really change the way we work as a sector, because especially in cleaning, catering, security, in those kind of high pace environments, we are used to a lot of flexibility at the moment, and the benefits that has, and unfortunately, that's going to change.
Absolutely. Now, have you, in terms of like, I mean, it's a good question to ask, but in terms of like balancing the commercial performance of the organization with that well-being, retention, culture building kind of side of things, I mean, like your retention at kind of like Cleanology has been fantastic. You've got people that have been there for a very long period of time. Even the events and things that we attend, like everybody cut them open, it would say Cleanology. It's a brilliant culture. How do you balance that?
Um, for me, the two go hand in hand. So, having a good culture and looking after your team and their well-being, really drives performance because, you want people, it's very competitive out there to bring on talent, and it costs money to bring on talent and develop them. And you really want to look after people. If you look after people, they will look after your customers and look after your business. So for me, looking after people is not really a cost. It's an investment in the people and the business ultimately, because if you have a low churn of staff and team, then that only goes to support, providing an amazing service to customers, and then helps grow your business and your bottom line, which is also what we're all trying to do.
Now, looking back in terms of our final question, like in terms of like what's been the most pivotal moment in terms of your career, the turning point that kind of shaped where you got to today. I mean, was that taking over the business from your mom? Was it kind of like what would you say kind of like it was that kind of like really put you on this pathway?
I mean, yeah, that was a that was a big moment. I think there's probably been a few things. I think a couple of big ones. I think bringing on an external advisor was a big one, which we did probably 10 years ago, and something I would really recommend to anyone who's starting on their own and starting their own business, to have a really good advice and support network around them is important. It's very lonely being um, an entrepreneur, CEO, business owner, and you haven't got, that kind of team that you can talk to. You've only got people kind of below you, and therefore it's really important to have some advisors, and if not a mentor, a non-exec, and that kind of person by your side, just to bounce kind of ideas off, or have a moan if you need to. And Yeah, just to have that kind of external sense check. And then also when I did that, it kind of really gave me a lot more clarity and focus, and we then really kind of built a sort of 3-year plan, executed that, and then kind of built another 3-year plan, and so on. And that really helped us kind of grow from 5 million to 10 million, and then 10 to 20. And yeah, it kind of gave us a bit more structure than we'd had before. So that's probably the biggest thing I would say.
That's amazing. Really, really, really good advice. And almost on the fact that core recruitment do non-executive recruitment as well. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. But anyway, but there you go, Dominic. Thank you very much for having the chat. Best of luck with the chairman position and the upcoming career in politics. I really look forward to that and seeing how you get involved in the future.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Great talking to you.